Ajnana Trimandasya Gyanangana Salakaya Chakshusmitaya Natasma Shri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtan Stapita Yena Bhutale Sanarupa Kadamanya Dadati Swamparam Chikam Vandeha Sri Guru Svitam Parakalana Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sakjatan Sahagana Raghunatan Tavitan Sajivan Sadhuitan Sadhutan Parijana Saitan Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devan Sri Radha Krishna Padasagana Lalita Sri Vishakavitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesa Gopika Kantu Radha Kanta Namastati Tapta Kanchana Gorange Radha Bindavaniswari Vishabhanu Sati Devi Pranamama Hripiya Panchakapa Tarubhyascha Kripa Shinti Vevajan Patitana Pavanavibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo 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 Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prima Padayati Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Guratu Se Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Siva Shari Gora Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Ananda Lila Maya Vigraya Himabada Vichavi Sundaraya Tasma Maha Prema Sapadaya Chitachandriya Namaste Chitachandriya Namaste. So we are continuing the discourse on the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 12, text 15. Lord Krishna is talking about, is it 13 or 15? Huh? 13? 13? 13 and 14? But somebody told me 15. Huh? Is it? So I don't today. Organizer told me 15. Huh? 15. Yeah. Organizer told me 15 today. So anyway, it is all similar because Krishna is talking about the qualities of devotees and how devotees are very, very dear to him. The devotees are dear to Krishna by specific quality. So Krishna is talking about those qualities. So which means we have to be attentive to this verse if we want to be dear to Krishna. So text 15. Yashmano dijate loko Lokando dijate chaya Asamarsha Bayo Dvigai Mukto Yasa Chame Priya. Okay, word for 1 minute. Yasmat from whom never would Vidyate are agitated. Lokaha, people. Lokat, from people. Never. Ujjate is disturbed. Cha, also. Yaha, anyone who. Asha, from happiness. Amarsa, distress. Bhaya, fear. Udvegai, and anxiety. Muktaha, freed. Ya, who. Sa, anyone. Cha, also. Me, to me. Priya, Very dear. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone who is equiposed in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is very dear to me. Purport: a few of a devotee's qualifications are further being described. No one is put into difficulty, anxiety, fearfulness, or dissatisfaction by such a devotee. Since a devotee is kind to everyone, he does not act in such a way as to put others into anxiety. At the same time, if others try to put a devotee into anxiety, he is not disturbed. It is by the grace of the Lord that he is so practiced that he is not disturbed by any outward disturbance. Actually, because a devotee is always engrossed in Krishna consciousness and engaged in devotional service, such material circumstances cannot move him. Generally, a materialistic person becomes very happy when there is something for his sense gratification and his body. But when he sees that others have something for their sense gratification and he hasn't, he is sorry and envious. When he is expecting some retaliation from an enemy, he is in a state of fear. And when he cannot successfully execute something, he becomes dejected. A devotee who is always transcendental to all these disturbances is very dear to Krishna. So this the transcendental nature of a devotee is being described here by Lord Krishna and also by Srila Prabhupada in his purport to this verse. And the previous verse, whereby the Lord achieved from text number 13 to 20, so this is how the Lord is describing the various qualities of devotees and how devotees are how such devotees are very, very dear to him. Because when we say devotee means of a specific quality. The quality is there. Devotees doesn't mean somebody who just put on a dress, wear tilak, maybe chant some mala, But devotee is a quality. And that quality is by virtue of consciousness, which means a devotee is by his very act, by his movement, it radiates transcendence. Just like in the chapter 2, when Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna, how does one recognize someone who is transcendentally situated? Stita pratigyan. Stita pratigyan means somebody who says transcendentally situated. How does he act? How does he, how does he move around? How does he behave? All these things. So Arjuna was asking Lord Krishna all this question, and then of course Lord Krishna gave his answer. And now the further to that answer which Lord Krishna gave in chapter 2 is not being more elaborated in this chapter 12 of the Bhagavad-Gita, because chapter 12 is actually the conclusion of the 6 chapters which embodies Bhakti Tattva, the Bhakti principles within the Bhagavad-Gita. There are 6 chapters which deal with Bhakti. From chapter 7 to chapter 12, it deal with Bhakti only. And as the last time I gave class, I was mentioning that when we want to talk of Bhakti, there are 3 things which are there in the spiritual world. These three things are Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan means God. Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan. These are the only three items that exist in the spiritual world. The Lord is there, the Bhaktas are there, and what exists between them is Bhakti, that the transcendental loving service by which the devotees render to the Lord. So here the Lord is saying that such devotees that are very, very dear to Him, in the chapter text 13 and 14, the Lord is saying, Advishta Savabhutanam Matra Karuna Evacha Nimamo Nirahankara Samaduka Sukha Kshamin Santushta Sadatan Yogi Yatatma Drida Nischaya Maya Apita Mano Bodhi Yo Mad Bhakta Samay Priya. Mad Bhakta Samay Priya, this is like the very ending of the verses from 14 onward to chapter text, the last text of this chapter 12. Bhakta Samay Priya, the devotees that is very, very dear to me. So, Mad Bhakta, he said, my devotees, very, very dear to me. So which means to be called Krishna's own devotee is not an honorary thing. So in the translation of this verse, he said, one who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor, and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee is very, very dear to me. Yome Bhakta Samay Priya. So Krishna is saying devotee who is very dear to me. In the Nectar Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami is describing the 6 principles of devotional service. One of those 6 principles is Krishna Bhakti, means Krishna Kashani, which means something that is like Krishna is very attractive. Krishna is all attractive, and that's why the whole world surrender to Krishna, want to serve Krishna. Is very, very attractive. But Bhakti is attracted to Krishna. Krishna becomes attracted by the Bhakti of his devotee. So we can see. So Krishna himself becomes attracted to the Bhakti of his devotees. And that's why he mentions that Ajito Jita, that when Lord Brahma, when he was praying to Lord Krishna, Lord Brahma was saying, anyway, the third line of that verse said the Ajita Jita, whereby the Lord is Ajita, but he becomes Jita. Jita means conquerable. It's a person who is not conquerable by anything. Nobody can conquer the Lord. He's the supreme. He's full of all. He's the most powerful personality. He can never be defeated under any circumstance. But he becomes defeated by his devotee. So it's called Ajita become Jita. The person who's unconquerable, he becomes conquerable by. But how does he become conquerable? He becomes conquerable by Bhakti of his devotees. But the Lord does not easily give away himself. And that's why I mentioned that Bhakti is very, very rare to obtain. Because, why Bhakti is so rare to obtain? Because the Lord himself gave up his own independence. He became a plaything in the hands of his devotee. Whereby, here in Vrindavan, the gopis, the Krishna, the Gopa, they take Krishna to the forest, they all go to the forest, and they be wrestling with Krishna. And the contest is that whoever gets defeated will have to carry the victor. So sometimes when Krishna fight with some of his friends, Krishna get defeated. His friend they defeat him in the wrestling, and in that defeat, so Krishna had to carry them on his back. So sometimes Krishna will carry Sudama or Sridham, he will carry them on his back because he has been defeated. You see? Whereas so many big demons, they will come to Vrindavan. Huge demons. Putana, Putana, you know how big Putana is? Putana was like it was said to be like 12 miles long, so long, and Trinavata, Sakatasura, Agasura, all these big demons, but Krishna easily defeated them. But the same person who is so defeated, who easily defeat all the demons, they become defeated by his devotees. But how that position is, how the one attain that position, or be in a situation whereby he find himself being able to defeat Bhagavan, be able to, the Krishna actually being able to carry you on his back. How do one come to that position? So Krishna is saying here that my devotee, they have developed, this quality. My devotees, he has attained that transcendental state. He has become a self-control. Basically, one has become a perfect person. In the science of devotional service, there are two things. There is what we call Swarup Siddhi. Swarup Siddhi is the stage of perfection. So the stage of perfection, whereby one has attained the transcendental status, the transcendental stage. So on that stage of perfection, this is what being described here. While by devotee, he has become a perfect gentleman, basically. He doesn't put anybody into anxiety. And you say here, he does not put, no one is put into difficulty by him, nor is he ever get disturbed by anyone. Because we know that in our day-to-day affairs, sometimes we may try to avoid trouble. If we go about try to avoid trouble, but oftentimes trouble look for us. That's a fact of life. It's like, okay, I don't want any trouble, but in the material world, trouble will look for you. So because trouble look for you, so you get disturbed by it. You say, oh, why this problem? Why? And even though I'm trying to avoid all the problem, say the problem is coming to me. Because the nature of material world is that we have to be inconvenienced at every single moment. At every circumstance, we get inconvenience all the time. That is the nature of this material world, and that's why I said that this material world is dukhalayam, is always miserable at every step of the way. Dukhalayam asashvatam, that is the very nature of the material world. So we get inconvenience all the time, and that inconvenience make life intolerable for us. And then we start lamenting. Why this problem? Why that problem? Why this? Why that all the time? But the devotee is such that he is not disturbed by all this inconvenience that comes in life. He's not disturbed by it at all whatsoever. When we read there is a story of Avanti Brahmana. So this story is described in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 18 of Avanti Brahmana. So this Brahmana was a person who previously, this Brahmana of Avanti, previously he was like a rich person. He was a rich person, and being a rich person, he was, he was very miser. He was very miser. He tried to keep his money as much as possible without benefit to anyone. But somehow the wheel of fortune turned against him, that he lost everything. Even all his family members, they all turned against him. The same family members that he used to maintain, he used to provide them everything. So they all became his enemy basically. They all turned against him. And also follow similar pattern. If you read the Jaiva Dhamma, written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I think that's chapter 8, whereby Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was talking of a merchant who was also he was very miser, and even he was so miser that even though he was making a lot of money, even he never tried to maintain properly. He never even tried to wear nice dress all of a sudden. But at the same time also, so one time he told his children that, look, all of you, my children, you all know that I've been working all my life. I've been working my life, accumulating so much wealth, and I've been doing all these things even without maintaining myself properly also. But at the same time, I could see that all of you are not been very, very attentive to the care of your parents. Because right now, me and your mother, we all become very old now. But nonetheless, I have kept some money. I've kept some money aside. And if I see which among you is being nice, then maybe this money may be given to any among you who's been very attentive to me, to your parents. Somehow, when the children, when they heard this, so they conspire among themselves. They say, "Oh, this old man, he has kept some hidden wealth, and we don't know what he may do, who he may give this wealth to. So let us make arrangement and send our parents to some place of pilgrimage, and then we can divide this wealth among ourselves." So one day, these children, they went to their parents. They said, "Our dear parent, we know that you are never really been to any place of pilgrimage. Why don't you go to Mayapur, to Navadip, and try to visit some sages, some saintly devotees, and get some association? In this way, this will actually be good for you." So the parents, they thought that, oh, this is very good, that our children, they are coming to their senses. They are making a good suggestion. So the man called his wives, "Okay, let us go on a pilgrimage." So they decided to go on a pilgrimage, but as they left, so all of a sudden their children, they took away all their possessions. And so when this information was related to this merchant and his wife, that your children, they've broken into your room, they've taken everything that you got. So they said, okay, they felt they become morose and decided to, okay, maybe we should go back to our house and to try to talk to some sense to our children. So they were advised that, look, if you go back, these children, they will kill you. They will kill you if you go back. So they said, well, what is this? So they find themselves unable to go back to their house. So somehow, out of some arrangement, they're able to meet some sadhus, some saintly devotees. And they asked them, the very question they asked them is that, what is this material world? That's a very, very question. What is this material world? And this is the question, this is the topic of this chapter 8 of Jaiva Dhamma, that what is this material world? Whereby you work so hard, all of a sudden, your so-called friends, your so-called relatives, they become your enemy. So the nature of material world had to be explained to this family. But in the material world, there's nothing really wonderful. The only thing good about this material world is that one is able to become a devotee of Krishna. So here the Lord is saying that Yashma nodijate loko, loka nodijate chaya, asma sepayodega, muktu yasa chame priya. A devotee, for himself, is free from anxiety himself. He is free from anxiety. And so because he's free from anxiety, he does not put anyone into difficulty. Actually, everyone is his friend. Dira dira jana priya priya karo. These are the qualities of the Goswami. Dira dira jana priya priya karo. They don't see anyone as their enemy, and they see everyone as so because they never see anyone as their enemy. So everyone, they're very, very comfortable being around them because they know that this is true sadhus. So if I go around them, they will never exploit me. Because in this world, we're all afraid of being exploited. We go here and there because even though, we go to so-called religious people, they simply want to exploit you. That's what they want to do. You go to so-called sadhus, all they do, they want to give you blessing so that in terms of what you can give them, But a real sadhu is a person who's actually have your interest at heart. So they have your interest at heart. So therefore, people are very, very comfortable, around them. Because it said that equipoised in happiness and distress, being equipoised. So which means happiness may come, distress may come, they are not affected by it. They're equipoised. So I was relating to the question of the Avanti Brahmana in the Bhagavad-Gita, whereby this Avanti Brahmana was in a similar situation, whereby having lost everything, so he decided to go. He decided to be a sannyasi. So he took sannyas. He was begging Madhukari, but as he was going about his way, begging for Madhukari and all that. So people who knew him before, so they started abusing him like anything. Some will just see him, they will slap him. Some will spit on him. Some will urinate on him. They will just do so much harassment. They will give you so much harassment. But despite all this, he will not retaliate. He will not retaliate. So after some time of being oppressed by all kinds of people, and then he started talking. That who is actually being oppressed? Who is being disturbed? Is it just this body that is made up of flesh and bones? This body that's made up of flesh and bone is what we consider to be being disturbed, whereas the soul is totally transcendental to all these things. Because the soul has nothing to do with all the happenings to the body, but because of the attachment that the living entity have with the material body, even though the soul is actually separate from the material body, but because of the false attachment, so therefore the living entity experience suffering. It experience distress. So which means unless one is transcendentally situated, there's no question of being equiposed. One has to be transcendentally situated, which means one has to come to the soul platform. That's what we call realization. In order to become transcendentally situated, in order to become freedom from fear, freedom from anxiety. And this comes only by virtue of devotional service to Krishna. Because devotional service, by performing devotional service to Krishna, all this quality develop. Because it's not that one has to be artificially develop these qualities. Because normally the yogis, they go to the forest to develop many of these qualities, to become free from fear. Normally as a yogi, you have to go to the forest and you have to start performing pranayams and do some ashtanga, do some yoga practice and all that. Why? So that, because when you're in the forest, you're alone in the forest, you may be attacked by, wild animals and all that. But unless you are free from fear, how can you do meditation in the forest? So the freedom from meditation must be, the freedom from fear must be there. So therefore the yoga process is a process by which one becomes free from fear. One is able to conquer fearfulness. And then once you attain freedom from fear, then you can do meditation. Because meditation is supposed to be uninterrupted. You cannot perform meditation if you are disturbed. It's not possible. So therefore, the yoga process is described. Is described. But however, even though yes, one can develop many of these situations by practicing yoga, but there's always problem with them. Why? Because when you are performing yoga, you're also developing some power, especially mystic power. And what so happened is that the demigods, they started noticing you. They started noticing that, oh, this person is performing yoga. You want to become powerful. And because you want to become powerful, so which means this person want to take up a position. So therefore, the demigods, they start giving you all kinds of impediment, just like Indra did. Vishwakarma and Vishwamitra. So he went to the forest and he was performing yoga meditation for 60,000 years. He was performing yoga and meditation. He has become so powerful that Indra became, he became paranoid. He said, oh, this fellow, he was going to take my position. So what he did, he sent a heavenly themselves. Uvasi. He said, you go and create disturbance for Vishwamitra. So as Vishwamitra, he was already a perfect yogi, a deep a yogi. But Apsara went there to where he was performing meditation, and with the tingling of the handcovers from my leg, tingling and all that, so much attraction. I mean, this is the heavenly damsels. So much attraction that is there. So immediately, Vishwamitra, he opened his eye and he saw this wonderful woman. He said, oh, which possessed beauty which has never been seen before. So he immediately became attracted, and all his 60,000 years of austerity vanished. He got married to her. Marry her and produce children and produce a child by her. So that happened. And of course, eventually he realized his mistake. He said, "Oh, what happened? I became falling from my yogic platform." So he was able to snap out of it, and then he abandoned both the Apsara, both the woman and the child, which had been gotten. So the problem is there for this procedure of yoga practice and all that. But in the bhakti process, one will not have such problems. Why? Because devotees, they are always in the association of other devotees. Because of being a constant association of other devotees, so these qualities are being developed due to the power of association. And as long as one remain in the association of devotees, then there will be no chance of falling down. And of course, the association must be positive association, because we associate with the devotees. It's not just being around devotees, because sometimes we make the association of the devotees, and at the same time we become critical of devotees. Because as I say, familiarity breeds contempt. Because we are so familiar with one another, so therefore the turn is okay. We see the person according to the way they look, according to whatever it is, their culture, where they come from. We don't take devotees association in a positive light. So that is not really association. So but the positive association of bhakti is what brings results when the result is there. Because devotees, when they associate with each other, they talk about Krishna Katha, about each other, and they enliven one another about Krishna. As the Srila Rupa Goswami said, that Dadati Patignati, Gunya Kete Prichati, Bhakti Bhujati said, Bhunte, Bhujate Sava, Savidam Pritilakshanam, the are devotees, how they associate with one another, they give each other's gift and they accept gift from each other. They make confidential inquiry and they also review their mind and they give pressure to each. They exchange pressure. These are the loving dealing that devotees have. So as long as these positive things are there, then one can develop devotional qualities. And it's devotional quality that attract Krishna. Krishna said, my devotees, they are very dear to me. So, devotees become dear to Krishna when a devotee when his characteristics are very, very sublime. Then devotees become very dear to Krishna. So, in the Bhagavad-Gita, so Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna what are the sublime characters of the devotees. So the Lord said, Kripalu Akita Droha, Stitikshu Sabade Inam, Satasaro Nabadhyatma Sama Sabapakara Karaka, Kamai Ahata de Dantu Midu Suchi Akinchana, Aniho Meta Bok Santa, Sito Macharano Muni, Apramato Gabiratma, Dritiman, Jita Sadgunahan, Amani Manada Kayo, Matra Karunika Kavi, Again Yavan Gunan Doshan, Mayadishtan Apiswakan, Damas Santajaya Saban, Mam, Bhagitas to Sataman. So the Lord is saying, O Uddhava, a saintly person is merciful and so is never inclined to give pain to others. Even if others are aggressive, he is tolerant and forgiving towards all. His purpose in life comes from the truth itself. He is free from envy, and his mind is equiposed in happiness and distress, as we've been talking here. He dedicates his time to work for the welfare of others. His intelligence is never bewildered by material desires, and he has learned to control his senses. His behavior is always pleasing, never harsh, and always exemplary, and is free from possessiveness. He never endeavors like ordinary worldly people, and he strictly controls his eating, and so he always remains peaceful and steady. A saintly person is thoughtful and accepts me as his only shelter. Such a person is very cautious in the execution of his duties and is not disturbed even in a distressing situation. He has conquered over the 6 material qualities: hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. He is free from all desire for prestige, and he offers respect to others. He is expert in reviving the Krishna consciousness of others, and so he never cheats anyone. Rather, he is a well-wishing friend to all, being most merciful. Such a saintly person must be considered the most learned of men. He perfectly understands that the ordinary religious duties prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures possess favorable qualities that purify the performer, and he knows that neglect of such duties constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. Having taken complete shelter at my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties and worships me alone. He is thus considered to be the best among all living entities. So these are the various characteristics that the Lord described about how to know who is a devotee of Krishna. If I just read some small commentary here by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Pad, whereby he said that the Supreme Lord says that there are two types of saintly persons: those who perform devotional service mixed with karma and gyan, and those who engaged in unalloyed devotional service. So the word kripalu indicates that one is not able to tolerate others' distress. Akrita droham indicates that a devotee does not wish misery even for his enemy. So which means, like as they said, a devotee has no enemy. Just like Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj means he's known as Ajata Satru. One of his name is Ajata Satru, which means he's a person whose enemy has never been born. It means he has no enemy. Even though, yes, we know that he was being tormented all the time by the Kauravas, by Duryodhana and his relatives. But still, Yudhishthira Maharaj never considered them his enemy. He's called Ajata Satru. His enemy has never been born. So a devotee has no enemy. Titiksha means that he tolerates others' neglect and forgives the offenses committed against him. Satasha indicates that a devotee is always fixed in the truth. It's called a devotee never lie. Lie is never a quality of a devotee. Another Dhyatma means that a pure devotee is devoid of envy and never unnecessarily criticizes others. Sama means that he is equal in both happiness and distress, as well as in honor and dishonor. Savopakaraka means that a devotee is always engaged in acts meant for the welfare of others. Karmai Ahatadi indicates that a devotee is not agitated by lusty desires because his senses are completely under control. His heart is gentle and is pure. Suchi means pure and always careful to observe the prescribed etiquette. And the Akinchana means a devotee doesn't claim anything as his own because he knows that everything belongs to the Lord. He knows that everything belongs to the Lord and is detached from all worldly activities. He eats pure and simple food and just enough to maintain a healthy condition of the body. Santa means peaceful in mind. Stira means is very fixed in his occupational duties and devotional activities. Matsarana indicates that the devotee has taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and is a very, very thoughtful person. So, like Srila Prabhupada, we say that the devotee should be thoughtful always. That one wants to because one has to be very grave and be constantly be thoughtful. Srila Prabhupada said that he said, I want my disciples to be thoughtful always. Gabiratma means his nature is like a deep ocean, unfathomable. Ditima means one is not agitated by the urge of the tongue and genitals and is devoid of desire for respect, amane, and is always ready to give respect to others. Kaya means that the devotee is expert in preaching to others. Actually, in order to preach, one has to be. So actually, a real preacher is the one who is actually a good devotee because normally the power of preaching will be felt when a devotee is, is very, very committed. When a devotee is very, very pure, then he preaches very, very nicely, and that preaching becomes very, very effective. So, And then it's mentioned here that a devotee is friendly to everyone. Karunika means that a devotee mercifully tries to bring people to a sane condition of life, and then he performs all his activities expertly. These are the 28 qualities of a pure devotee. A pure devotee who possesses the above mentioned qualities is understood to have attained the perfection of life. He no longer has any desire for liberation by merging into the existence of the Lord. In the beginning, one cultivates devotional service, meets with karma, and then one progresses to the practice of devotional service, meets with jnana. The stage of perfection, however, is characterized as being devoid of karma and jnana. This is the meaning of pure devotional service. One who is thus situated on the transcendental platform is called Atmaram or Santa Bhakta. But this is, of course, a very long commentary. This, as I was mentioning in the beginning, that there's two things: Vastu Swarup Siddhi and Vastu Siddhi. The Swarup Siddhi is the stage of perfection. When one has attained perfection, that means one attained this platform of which is being described here, whereby one has become free from any kind of disturbances, happiness, distress. One has become transcendentally situated. One is actually situated in one's own spiritual position. That is called Swarup Siddhi. The attainment of one's spiritual platform. Ikwantu Swarupena, Vyavastu Swarupena Vyavasate. This is from the Upanishad. The stage of perfection is, and in that stage that one actually can enter, that one can actually render pure devotional service unto Krishna. And Vastu means the stage whereby one is situated in one's particular ras with Krishna, and one is rendering service to Krishna according to a particular ras. This is what he called Vastu. Because this is the topmost stage of the topmost stage of life. So this is all been described here. So the Lord is talking here about such devotees. They are very, very dear to Him, and this is what we should aspire for. How we can become such good devotees that we can become dear to Krishna. But this is of course possible if you always aspire for positive association, good association. And the association must be positive. We must see, as association we have must be very, very sublime. And the best way to do that is by seeking the association of advanced devotees. Those who are advanced than us, we should seek the association and make inquiry from them and serve them. This is how we actually get the positive association. So I'm going to stop here. If anybody have any question or comments. Hare Krishna.
Although you were speaking about the old age disease, in this one you said that there's old age disease and this material is Bukhayaga.
Yes.
But the statement in Prabhupada gives also, he also says same thing, and also previous acharyas also have told the same things.
Mm-hmm.
But why can't we understand this thing?
Yeah, because of our attachment to the body, so we can't understand this thing. Because we are so attached to our body, and we are not willing to really, dive into the process. Even though we hear this thing again and again, still we are always acting on the same material platform, because we are not willing to surrender onto the process. That's which is, as I mentioned earlier, this is due to lack of association. We are not associating with the great personalities and get their example from them. So because of the attachment, even though we hear this again and again, but still, because of that attachment is also, therefore we are being bothered, we have to be bothered all the time. We get disturbed all the time because of this thing.
You see, although we are in spiritual life, we are doing practicing spiritual life, we
Yeah.
are chanting and doing everything, but still why is disturbing us?
You know, I
Even
think
though we are associating with the devotees, we are associating with senior devotees, but how do we know the senior devotees? We are honest or we are
we have to look for advanced devotees. There's a difference between senior devotees and advanced devotees. When the devotees who are very, very serious about bhajan, those who take Krishna consciousness very, very seriously, those are the advanced devotees. Is those association that we have to seek. Not because somebody is senior, not the longevity in Krishna consciousness movement. That's not senior. That's maybe seniority, but that's not advancement. So somebody who's actually taking the process very, very seriously is such person that we have to associate with. Sukadeva Goswami came to the assembly of the sages where Parikshit Maharaj was about to leave his body. Many, many sages who are millions and millions of years old, they were there. They were unable to give Parikshit Maharaj a conclusive truth about what he should do because he was about to leave his body. They were giving different ideas because they are different sages, and whenever there are many sages, you get many different opinions. But Sukadeva Goswami came, he was a young person. He was, practically very young compared to all these sages who are millions and millions of years old. So, immediately, Parikshit Maharaj saw Sukadeva Goswami. He asked the same question which he has asked all the sages, that what should I do? What should be the duty of a person who is about to die? So Sukadeva Goswami said, hear Krishna Katha. That's what he should do. So when Sukadeva Goswami said this, everyone came in, everyone said, yeah, this is the right answer. Everyone, they all clapped their hands, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. This is the right conclusion, the right answer. Because Sukadeva Goswami is a pure devotee of Krishna, is completely devoted to the culture of Krishna consciousness. He was pure devotees, they are devotee of Srimati Radharani. So therefore, he was the right person to associate with. So he gave the right conclusion. So which means that we have to seek such devotees who are devoted to the culture of Krishna consciousness. We have to seek out such devotees are very, very rare. They're very, very rare, such devotees. We really have to pray for that. We have to pray for such association. They don't come wholesale. They come, it's like, they just don't come wholesale. It's something we have to aspire for such association. They're very, very rare to find such association. There are so many stars, but there's only one moon, as they say. So, we basically have to pray to Krishna, that we have to cry for Krishna. My Sisha Guru Govind Maharaj used to say that if you want Krishna, you have to cry for a sadhu. You have to cry for him. There's no other way to get Krishna. So
Thank you very much.
So any other points? So we just take this serious. That's we just have to take it serious. We have to say, many of us have traveled thousands of miles to come to Vrindavan. Why have you come here? So we have to be thinking of that. Why have you come? Why have you come here? We've traveled so many miles and miles away. So we have to be thinking about. That's why we have to be thoughtful all the time. Why have you come? Why have you come? All right. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Krishna Bhagavan ki, Hare Krishna.